fact that I-95 is in such deplorable shape and basically the ugly red-headed stepchild of South Carolina's interstate highways is a disgrace. How y'all doing? I'm Big Al, and welcome to my studio. So it's been a hot minute since I last posted a video. I've been on vacation for the past 2 weeks with my family. I was first down in Hilton Head Island, and then I was down in Vero Beach, Florida for a while. It was wonderful. It was a great time, just sit back, unwind, and drink pina coladas in the sun. Yes, I do enjoy pina coladas, but getting caught in the rain, not so much. Anyway, on to the topic of today's video. In order to get to those wonderful destinations, it involved traveling on I-95. I-95, of course, is the busiest interstate highway in the United States, and it passes through more states than any other interstate highway, links the Northeast to Florida, and it passes through my state of South Carolina. Now, I've driven on 95 in 3 states: South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So let's see. Florida, I-95, 3 lanes in each direction, mostly in good repair for the most part. You know, there's some rough spots, but 3 lanes from the Georgia line, pretty much all the way down to South Florida, where it's like 10 lanes. Georgia, 3 lines from the South Carolina line to the Florida line. Flows well. South Carolina, I get on it from I-26 at milepost 86 and drive down to about exit 8. 2 lanes in each direction, bouncing along on the original concrete poured in the late 1970s. This, oh boy, it can be a very stressful drive. Traffic will speed up to 80 miles an hour, then slow down to 60, then speed up again. It's not fun. It's horrible, and it's been horrible for a long, long time. I-95 needs to be widened in the worst way possible. Georgia and Florida recognized this and did it. North Carolina is starting to widen their section of 95. But South Carolina is still dragging their feet on this. And it's ridiculous. And the answer to why I-95 has not been expanded in South Carolina. Actually, wait. A short section of it near Florence, between exit 170 and exit 160, was expanded. But that's it. So there's a lot of reasons I-95 is still only 2 lanes through South Carolina. One thing, it doesn't really serve any major cities, other than Florence, if you count that as a major city. No, not really. And a lot of the traffic that's on I-95 is from out of state. It's mostly people going from the north down to Florida and back. And there's a perception among South Carolinians, both the general population and, worse, the politicians, that, well, why should we invest money on a road that the out-of-staters are using? Why not invest that money on the roads that our residents actually use? Because people don't just use it to go to Florida and Georgia. They use it to also go to Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Hilton Head Island. And our major industry is tourism. The fact that I-95 is in such deplorable shape and basically the ugly red-headed stepchild of South Carolina's interstate highways is a disgrace. It makes us a laughingstock. It makes people not want to spend money in our state. And it's dangerous. There's wrecks on 95 all the time. I mean, the state is finally, I think, starting to pull their heads out of their rear ends, and they are going to widen it from the Georgia line to Walterboro. That's not enough. It needs to be widened to 3 lanes from at least the Georgia state line, clear to the junction with Interstate 26. The thing about South Carolina is the state is essentially a funnel for traffic heading into Florida. You have I-26 comes diagonally down where it hits I-95. That funnels a lot of traffic from the Midwest, Illinois, Wisconsin, and so on. Then you have 77 coming down from Ohio. That brings a lot of traffic, which then dumps into 26, which then dumps into 95. And then you have the traffic from the Northeast coming down 95. So that stretch of 95 from 26 south to the Georgia line is carrying a lot of traffic. And it gets less, 95 gets less busy north of 26, but south to the Georgia line needs to be 3 lanes, not just yesterday, it needs to be 3 lanes 20 years ago. And unfortunately, it's just politics is what's getting in the way of it finally getting done properly. And 10 years ago, the state increased our gasoline tax. And it's amazing how little has gotten accomplished in that time. I mean, we're just seeing politician pet projects getting funded. Like that's any big surprise. But we need to get over this mentality of, oh, why do we want to cater to the out-of-staters? Because those out-of-staters come into our state and spend money. That's why. They buy gas here. They eat meals here. They stay in our hotels. Sometimes they go to those resort areas and they stay a little longer and spend even more money. So 95, it needs to be 3 lanes. Preferably through the entire state, but at least from 26 south to the Georgia line. Now, the powers that be need to get their heads out of their rectums on this. It's more than long overdue. The road is in horrendous shape. I mean, there are bridges that are sagging like this in parts of the low country. It doesn't exactly inspire confidence when you drive over them. This is not how our state puts its best foot forward. But we had tax money to build a huge gateway on the Georgia state line. Tell me our state's priorities aren't misplaced. So anyway, that's it. Short rant. We'll give you a little bit of an update on the Corvair. The electric fuel pump didn't fix it. I still think it might either be the sock filter in the gas tank, or I might have to rebuild the carburetors. But that's another video for another day. Grandparents are going to be taking the kids to Calabash, so I should be left unsupervised for a while. Which means I can get up to mischief in the garage. Anyway, I hope you will please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next installment.